Hi, I'm Andy Amrine, and welcome to BPTV. This is our Around Town series, and welcome to St. Thomas More School. Exciting things have been happening here at the school. A lot of renovations, new teachers, new principal. People know about St. Thomas More School maybe just by driving by. Today, we're going to take you on a backroom tour of what the school is, who the students are, who the staff is, and really give you a nice view of how amazing this facility is and how lucky this community is to have a school like St. Thomas More. Welcome to St. Thomas More School. Here we are outside of St. Thomas More School, and the school, the campus area, the outside grounds, everything is just pristine here at this school. And we're here with the new principal, Joe Rossi. And Mr. Rossi, can you give us a little bit of background leading up to today with the school, a little bit about the school history?
Sure. So the original building was built in the 50s, and after being in service for 60 years, the parish community decided that they wanted to build a new state-of-the-art building. So our building currently is 10 years old, and at completion, it provided a lot of technology upgrades, some really fantastic state-of-the-art gym, and the opportunity to link us between our building and our parish center so that our students can continue to go to Mass on Fridays.
Okay. The school itself, how does it really differ from a public school? There's a lot of things, but can you highlight some of the most important things at how you differ from the public school?
Sure. I think one of the best examples of our student involvement and interest in being here is if you came and watched at 8 o'clock when our kids arrived. They sprint as fast as they can out of their parents' cars and off of their buses to get into the building. And it really, as an adult and somebody that works here, makes you feel really good about what you're doing during the day. The kids want to be here, our families are involved, and that sense of community and school spirit really permeates through everything and makes our academics and our athletics really productive.
Repitan las salchichas.
Las salchichas.
El tocino.
El tocino.
El jamón.
El jamón.
El cereal.
El cereal.
El queso.
El queso.
El yogur de fresa.
El yogur de fresa.
How about introducing yourself, please?
Oh, hi, my name is Patrick Healy. I'm in my 9th year teaching here at St. Thomas More, and I teach Spanish to grades preschool through 8th grade.
Preschool. Isn't that a little early to be starting a language?
You know, that's actually, the research says that's actually the best time to start. It's the best for them to, I mean, that's when your mind is really, and your brain's in a great position to be able to acquire languages and learn languages. So it's really the best time for them to start.
Okay, so if you're starting them in preschool, do you teach all grade levels?
I do. I have all of them. Actually, this year, the class I started, my kindergartners from my very first year are now in 8th grade. So I've gotten to see them kind of go all the way through up to 8th grade. So it's a really neat experience.
Okay, do you see them in 8th grade, though, where it's made a difference starting that young?
Oh, I think it has. I think I really wanted to get them accustomed to hearing the language. I taught high school for a couple years before I started here, and I found that the confidence was the hardest thing for them. So I found that starting them at a younger age by listening, and I read them stories in Spanish. So really getting them comfortable with the language I felt was really important at the early ages. So by the time they hit middle school, they're more confident to be able to speak and listen and write and use all the different language skills.
So this is probably quite a leg up to these 8th graders going into high school, whichever high school they're going into?
Exactly. We actually use the same textbooks that Bethel Park, Mount Lebanon, Peters Township use, and we actually in most cases get further along than our public school counterparts do in their Spanish 1 program. So I've had many students go into Spanish 2 at the public schools and also at the Catholic high schools, and they've all come back to me and tell me I mean how great they're doing. So it's great.
Okay, is this every student in the school does this language?
Yes. Spanish. We start them in preschool. Yes, and then it's all the way up. So if I could throw say, Spanish is the only other language I know. So occasionally I get asked about something else, but that's the one that I know best. So
wonderful. I like the program. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming.
Well, I think what really makes us unique is the start of their day. So once they get settled and they get into their homerooms, the first thing we do as a school community is we pray. We talk about whatever's going on in the morning. We may have some announcements, some athletic highlights, that kind of thing. Before we do anything, we have a student-led prayer that when they get on the intercom and talk to all of their peers, it really is a sense of pride for them. Like, this is my day. I get to talk to everyone and lead us in prayer. And I think that there's a leadership component to that, along with a faith-based and morality piece where we talk about the virtues, and there's conversations informally, but as a part of, led by our homeroom teachers, that really sets the tone for what the day looks like. And then we get into all of our core content subjects like language arts, math, science, and social studies. The kids have a really comprehensive health and physical education program. We have a really nice cafeteria that we'll be able to tour here shortly. And there's also an opportunity for the kids to stay after school and engage in a lot of extracurricular activities, like a pretty substantive musical that we offer in the spring, along with other athletics like volleyball, soccer, cross country, and basketball.
Okay, well, do they get into the STEAM and the STEM core programs like we hear about so much in the other school districts?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, if you were to look at your local school district, there's probably a pretty good chance that you'll see that they're cutting staff. And we're actually doing the exact opposite. This year we doubled down and hired technology coordinators that are not people that just sit in a room, but they're actually teachers who teach class in their building, who have their kids, but also mentor our other professional staff in technology integration processes.
We're here in one of the 6th grades here at St. Thomas More, and can you introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Mrs. Davis. Hello.
Okay, and Mrs. Davis, what do you teach here at St. Thomas More?
I teach math all the way from pre-algebra to algebra, geometry, and mathematics.
Okay, and what kind of background did you have before you came to school here?
I went to Duquesne University and got my master's. I have numerous certifications, also in instructional technology.
Okay, and what made you pick St. Thomas More to teach at?
I absolutely love this school. I love that it's faith-based, and I love that we can practice our faith while we're teaching our subjects.
Okay, how many years have you been here?
I've been a sub in the building for 3 years, and this is my first year teaching.
It's exciting. What do you think of your students?
Oh my gosh, this is by far my favorite class because they are my homeroom, and I absolutely adore every single one of them.
Okay, do you have, you want them to say anything?
Yeah, what do you guys want to say? Like, go STM? Yeah. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
And on top of all of that, we're entering into a partnership with Carnegie Mellon's Create Lab, where those folks at the Robotics Institute are taking the technologies that they're using for data fluency and distilling it down so that a 4th grade student could access that. We're really looking forward to all those opportunities, and they've been really generous with their loans of technology tools so that our kids can kind of experience college-level technology in a grade school environment.
All right, can you introduce yourself?
I'm Katie,
Okay, and Katie, what grade are you in?
6th grade.
Okay, and what are you doing in this class?
Right now we were on the Chromebooks on iExcel.
Okay, and tell me about using the Chromebook. Do you like it?
Yes, it helps a lot when you practice on certain classes.
Okay, and what class are you in right now that you're practicing?
Language arts.
So one of the benefits of being a private institution is that we can use the funds to be able to pay for whatever we'd like. So unlike a public school that's got a board and an administrative budget and all of the other things that they would waste their money on, every dollar that our kids give us, that goes directly back to their instruction. And so we were able to invest in Chromebooks going one-to-one with all of our middle school students, and that's something that we're going to preview here shortly. What you'll notice is there's a lot of kids that are engaged in at their instructional level that we're using these things as tools. This isn't a replacement for textbooks. Every kid that walks out of here still has basic arithmetic and writing skills and the ability to critically read and do all the things that we would think are important as students. But also, they're going to leave here with 21st century skills, having a good digital literacy, and really understanding the role of technology in their future life. There's a really big dichotomy here that we see at the middle school where we both focus on regular academics, where you're looking at kids creating posters, working on different plot points, literature features, that type of thing that you can see hanging up here. But then also to help reinforce those skills, the kids are using these technology tools to be able to make sure that it's meeting them at their instructional level. If you take a look at the individual Chromebook, we really did spend a little bit of extra money to make sure that they're kids safe. So the outside of these Dell ones have a rubber band for some of our younger students that might be more apt to drop them to make them a little bit more durable. It helps when the kids shelve them in the carts, and there's a pretty decent sized screen so that the kids are able to utilize these things and be able to see what's going on. So we're really happy with this individual purchase.
As far as typical after-school activities that the children in public school have, I mean, band, sports, cheerleading, the plays. You have all that here at the St. Thomas More also, correct?
We do, yes. So during school hours, we have a pretty robust band program where kids are allowed to select their instruments starting in 4th grade, and we have an ensemble that does twice a year has concerts. Now after school, we have, like I had mentioned before, a pretty robust musical presentation where we actually build sets, and there are lots of opportunities for kids to be involved not only in the musical side as performers, but as directors and lighting folks and set design, and it really is a cross-curricular opportunity. For athletics, we have both for boys and girls a volleyball program, a soccer program, basketball, and cross country. And now that we're in cross country season, I just wanted to brag a little bit. We actually won our recent meet, both the JV and varsity for boys and girls, so it was a clean sweep last weekend. Yeah.
Good. And boys, girls, activities for all of them, correct?
We do, and it doesn't really matter what grade level you are. Once you meet that 2nd grade threshold, there's preparatory programs to allow the kids to learn the skills to play, and then when we get into a little bit more competitive environment with our JV and varsity kids, those students are playing competitively against other diocesan schools.
Okay. How many students do you have currently here at the school, and what is the capacity of the school?
So at the moment we're at about 400 students, and that's pre-K to 8th grade, and we have a pretty comprehensive 3 and 4-year-old preschool environment, a transitional preschool that's all day long, and then kindergarten through 8th grade. And our kindergarten is unique in Bethel Park in that we do offer full day services here.
So Joe, you currently have about 400 students. Do you have room for more?
We do, actually. In fact, our building could probably hold about 600 students at capacity, and it's really been helpful because as we're discussing things with the diocese and the bishop, through the regionalization efforts of them closing some of the other area schools, we're going to be able to matriculate those students to our building easily. And as lots of families become a little bit more frustrated with what the public sector is doing, we've seen a pretty sharp uptick in enrollment from those families as well.
Okay. Do you have a pretty even numbers for all classes, or do you have more room for one age group than any other age group?
No, we're pretty even across kindergarten through 8th grade, and we can accommodate just about any family. We actually have 8 total school districts that service our building right now, from Pittsburgh all the way out to Ringgold, although the bulk of our kids obviously are from Bethel Park.
Okay. With the students itself, are you looking for this is St. Thomas More, do you accept children from all denominations?
We do. So, and I'm glad that you pointed that out. We actually have about 15% of our students who are not Catholic, although they do participate in some of the religious aspects of our instruction. A big portion of that is, what does it look like for faith and morality? So, and I think that's applicable regardless of religion. Although we really are a faith and Catholic-based institution, and that's a really important part of our identity. We do welcome everybody, and that includes student ability levels. We have opportunities for kids to seek both enrichment opportunities, and we have learning support things here, as well as a comprehensive guidance program. And again, there's a lot of elementaries that don't really have a full-time counselor, and that's something that we offer here too.
Okay, so you have programs set aside for special needs children then? We
do. Not only do we have learning support pushing through a collaborative organization called St. Anthony's, where we can accommodate just about any students that have any learning styles, but we also in the general ed classroom have an opportunity to create growth plans that meet kids at whatever their instructional level is, so that we want all kids to succeed here, both students that need support and the students that need enrichment or that are gifted in that respect.
Okay. So going back to a typical public school, to your school itself, so it sounds like there's really nothing that a public school has that you don't, but even taking it to the next level?
I would agree with that assessment. I mean, there's no facility that matches what we have here in terms of grade school. We have a stellar staff that's working as hard as they can to see our students' success. We've got a lot of technology integration opportunities. We can support kids at wherever their instructional level is. And on top of all of that, we have a Catholic identity that helps our kids learn about service, morality, and faith.
My name is Mrs. Rebecca Schreck.
Okay, and how long have you been teaching at St. Thomas More?
Oh gosh, this is my 22nd year at St. Thomas More.
Why do you stay here? Why do you like St. Thomas More School?
It's a Catholic school.
Okay.
My children were fortunate enough to get through Catholic schools. And I really made a promise to the dear Lord, if my kids got through Catholic schools, that I would go and teach in Catholic schools. So I've been doing that for actually going on 24 years.
Okay, and what do you teach?
favorite subjects:
Okay.
religion, mathematics, social studies, and I even really love teaching handwriting.
Okay, is there one grade level, or do you teach multiple grades?
No, I just teach 5th grade.
Fifth grade? Okay. Do you have, after 20 years of teaching here, you have to have some stories. Do you have one or two stories possibly of, things that maybe happened with a student, or, what touches your heart after teaching for 20 years?
Well, we've had a couple deaths in our school building recently, and I remember last year there was a little girl, actually probably about as tall as me, that came to our school, and her father was suffering from cancer. And at the very beginning of the school year, within the first 2 or 3 months, her father passed away. And it was the first time she was in Catholic schools, and her parents had made that decision to send their youngest daughter to Catholic schools. And we did a lot of talking about heaven and God's mercy, and how always our prayers aren't answered the same way, and that going to heaven is a healing also, because there is no crying, there's no sickness, there's nothing in heaven. Everything's beautiful, clear roads like glass, but you can see through it. And she had such a wonderful perspective. Even now she has a great perspective about her dad. She really believes very strongly that God has taken care of her dad. And to me, that's Catholic education. You can talk about the tough things with all the kids, and the kids have a chance to be here in the school and still be able to do what they need to do, even when difficult things are going on at home.
Yeah. Well, how about the way that your students treat each other? Are there...
Well, there was a kid last year. That's interesting you asked that. There was a kid last year, and he's one of, I think, 5 kids. And I had an older brother, and the sister had already gone on to high school. And this group of kids last year, as every year, they have their own special, attitude that they have as a class. This is a really great class. They were all very cohesive. And someone asked him towards the end of the school year, what was your favorite thing about St. Thomas More School? And he said his favorite thing about St. Thomas More School was our St. Anthony's program. Because in our school, we have special needs kids. We have kids with autism. We have kids that have Down syndrome. And they travel as included in some of the classes here in the classrooms. And we actually had a little boy in our room last year who has since moved out of state due to a parent's change in job. And he didn't really talk much. And he had Down syndrome. And I watched the kids interact with him. He was catching ball with them, playing with them at recess, and this wasn't something he normally did. And he even started talking to me. I'd had him in 2nd grade, and then I had him again in 5th grade, and he would say, "Bye, Shrek," and he would push in his chair. But it was, I saw a lot of growth in this little kid during that school year. So that's something very special about St. Thomas More.
Like most school buildings, we've got a mix of experience between our teachers. However, just like in any other state-sponsored, school, all of our teachers meet or exceed their license requirements. They have graduate degrees in their content areas, and a lot of the teachers that are coming out of school now, they're dual certified, so they're either elementary and special ed certified, or our newest math hire is elementary and math and technology certified, which is again part of our big mission. So we really do have a lot of experience and academic background for our staff, and they really do. And in fact, a lot of them are parents, including myself, of kids that go to school here. So there's a big inherent interest in making sure that our kids succeed, because it's our kids too.
Right. So, but it's not just a parent coming to be a teacher because you need to fill a spot. It's somebody that is very certified in being a teacher.
No, absolutely. In fact, when we had a kindergarten opening, we had a couple hundred applicants. We were very rigorous in our selection, the process. So we really feel like we're competitive in terms of job applications, and for the staff that we hire, that we provide them with professional development opportunities to keep them, being top notch.
Okay, Isabella, you're going to trace this H right here. Yep, right there. Good job. Straight line down all the way to the bottom. Move to the end of our bed. Make the end of our bed. Good job. Now right to the middle. Make the part we sleep on. Good job. Okay, now you get to make one all the way down there. Nice job. Ready, Lauren? 3, 2, 1. Pick a friend. Okay, Ava. Yes, Gianluca.
I have a in my middle name too.
You have an H in your middle name too. There is an H in your middle name. Very good, Gianluca.
Could you introduce yourself?
I am Lily Malott. I'm a first-year kindergarten teacher here at St. Thomas More. I went to IUP for early childhood and special education. It's been a great year so far, and I'm really excited to be here.
Well, that gives you multiple reasons to be teaching this age level.
Yes. I have always wanted to be a teacher since I was their age, and
Okay.
I have some girls that already are like, that's what I want to be doing, and it just reminds me of myself when I was their age. And I come to work every day. I don't even consider it coming to work. Like, I get to come to school, and you know, as cliche as it sounds, like mold young minds, and I just think it's
Well, in watching you teach your class, I mean, you have multiple, not just multiple skills, but technology and so forth at your fingertips that you can do something as simple as reading a book to smart boards. That
Yes.
has to be fun.
Oh, yeah, we use the smartboard a ton during the day, and I
Okay.
use it for handwriting especially. I use it for their reading stories. You can listen to them online, and then I use a site called Go Noodle, which they love, and we do brain breaks because, you know, at 5 years old, sitting at a desk for 45 minutes to an hour it's exhausting, and we do a lot of work in here. We get it done in the morning, and we hit it pretty hard, but I remember they're 5, they're 6, so I let them come up. We do yoga, we do dance parties, we do all sorts of interactive kind of stuff on the smartboard that they love, and it's a great incentive for them to keep working, so we can have a little bit of fun during the day.
Okay. Now, is this things that you were taught going to college, what to teach with the kids, or are some of these your own skills that you want to bring to the classroom because you know it benefits them?
You know, they can teach you all sorts of stuff in college, but I got into student teaching and I was like, nothing can prepare you for that. You know, you have all this book work, you look at it, you're like, okay, yeah, my lesson plan's going to go exactly how it goes, but you come in, some of your kids are having a bad day, some of them are really excited to be here, and you know, your lesson plan is not going to go exactly how it is written or exactly how you have it envisioned. And that's something that college can't teach you. That is just real life experience, and through student teaching and pre-student teaching and being in different classrooms and subbing, like, I have just learned so much from each different teacher that I've come in contact with, and kind of like incorporated things to like fit my style, and I find what works for myself and my kids, and I just take it day by day at this point, you know, and I always make sure to meet their needs. You know, if they're tired, they're exhausted, like, we're taking a break. Like, curriculum can wait a little bit. It's important to keep them, you know, energized, and I want them to like school and be happy to come here. So
Why St. Thomas More? Why did you come to work here?
I previously knew Mr. Rossi just from subbing, and just he worked in Bethel, and that's my my alma mater and stuff like that. That's where I did all my subbing. And then I came to interview here, and I looked around the school, and, you know, it's such a different atmosphere here. Everybody is so excited to be here. Everybody is so helpful, and I felt so welcomed from the minute I stepped in here, even just to interview. Everyone has been nothing but welcoming and supportive, and I just feel like this is such a good fit for me. And I'm so happy to be here. I don't even consider this coming to work. It's just what I get to do what I love every day. So
Thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you.
Well, how about the parent involvements in the school? Do you have a PTO, a PTA type of program? Are the parents involved in the school with the kids learning?
Yes, in fact, contrary to other public schools, we really do spend a lot of time having parents be involved here. Our parent organization is called the PTG, the Parent Teacher Guild, and it's structured like every other PTA or PTO that you've heard of, except we find and define opportunities for parents to be involved in the fundraising process with their kids. Let me give you an example. All of our students K through 8 have art class here, and as a part of their art projects, they're able to submit them to become things for their families to enjoy. Like if a kid painted a house that their parents really liked, they could put it on a plate and send it home. And so the kids got a tangible piece of artwork that they're really proud of. The family gets something that they, were able to purchase that helped us fundraise. And the PTG coordinated times where parents could go in and help our art teacher collect these pieces. So it really is an altogether complete experience where the kids get something out of it, the teacher meets their curricular goals, the parents are volunteering and being able to be a part of what the kids are doing, and we're able to fundraise all together.
Could you introduce yourself, please?
Sure, I'm Diana Danchenka. My daughter is Madeline, and she's in kindergarten here.
Okay. You're just a parent, a volunteer here for the school?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Why do you feel the need to be involved in the school?
Well, I also have 2 nephews that go here as well, and I have heard such tremendously great things about the school, the teachers, the staff, the other parents, just everybody working together as one big family, and that's the environment I wanted my daughter to be in. So when she started school, I said I want to be involved too and just be a part of everything that the school has to offer.
So what kind of things are you involved with, though, in the school?
Well, I just started with volunteering with the original Artworks class for that project, for that fundraiser that we're doing. And I hope to, volunteer for some future things as well with the class and with the school in general.
Okay, so you're expecting big things then from the school?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, well, thank you for taking the time.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Well, with fundraising, talk to me a little bit about what it takes to come to St. Thomas More School, whether it's a wealthy family or a family that's struggling a little bit. Is there ways for both families to be involved and send their children to the school?
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is any kid that wants to come here can come here.
Okay.
So there's a couple different opportunities. Not only does the individual tuition have the opportunity to be paid monthly installments, which makes it relatively affordable, but we also have a Bishop's Fund, an Angel Fund, and an Endure Fund that meet specific requirements, both need-based and ability-based, that offer full or part tuition scholarships so that kids can be here. We're really interested in making sure the kids are successful, and we would never turn a kid away based on what their family's income is. In fact, we've got funds that help them with general school supplies and those types of things on top of getting them in the door, paying their tuition.
Well, I like what you said. You never turn a student away who wants to go to school here?
That's correct. Never.
And you have room for everybody?
We have room for everybody. We're always welcoming more families and more kids here to St. Thomas More.
Thank you for watching Around Town on BPTV. I'm your host, Andy Amrine, and I hope you enjoyed your tour of St. Thomas More School, meeting Mr. Joe Rossi, the teachers, the students, another big asset to Bethel Park.